and now the most expensive rider in the Gulf League. Billy Sanders, the second successful Australian to win the Spring Classic, that was in '77, and Scott Autry, the American who was victorious last year. But it was two world champions who spearheaded the challenge, neither of whom has enjoyed success in this event. Denmark's Ole Olsen, the reigning world champion, and England's Peter Collins, who won this world title 3 years ago. The best of the action now, which we join for the start of Heat 4, reading the races, Dave Lanning.
The inside, Václav Werner from Czechoslovakia, then Richardson the reserve, Bruce Pennell from America and Cradley, and on the outside England's John Davis from Reading. Heat number 4, with Richardson the spoiler, and Pennell and Davis on the outside, perhaps the two favourites. And it's a very, very tight start, and Richardson, as we thought, has gone right in and taken everybody wide. Down goes Richardson, down goes Pennell. Davis somehow managed to avoid the Holocaust, and Pennell is up. Richardson is still down. They've stopped the race naturally.
Has been stopped in the interest of safety.
Fortunately, no injuries. The race was rerun and was eventually won by the American Bruce Pennell. The winners of the first 3 heats were Phil Crump, Peter Collins and Gordon Kennett. So they're the 4 leaders as we rejoin the Classic for Heat 5. Dave Lanning now with the lineup.
Across the grid then, John Davis on the inside. Then we have Phil Crump, 3 points. He won his first race. Peter Collins is in grid 3 and Larry Ross on the outside. So the 3 riders on the inside grid still very much with their eyes on this 1979 Daily Express Spring Classic title. Heat 5. In grid 2, and from the outside Larry Ross came from nowhere. Ross leads it. Second place is Crump, and Collins going around the outside there, but here is something of a surprise because Larry Ross really made a tremendous start from the outside, and he's spread eagling from here in Heat 5. Well, this tournament has a habit of throwing up unexpected winners. Larry Ross causing a bit of a surprise here as Collins tries to blast his way around the outside, switching back brilliantly under Crump there. Just about squeezes through. Really vintage piece of action from the back from Peter Collins. He's now in second place. Crump buzzing up onto his back wheel, but Ross it is still in front. And Peter Collins has got a lap to catch him now. Of course, he is a home rider here. He knows his way around this play lane track, and hasn't he shown it here in E5? Collins made up an awful lot of ground, but not quite enough. 3 points for Ross, 2 for Collins, 1 for Crump, and that is the first surprise of this 1979 Classic season. Number 8. This one, indeed, could have an effect on the eventual destination of the title as well. John Tipman rides in red on the inside. Ole Olsen, the world champion, only 1 point first time out. Interesting to see if he's made any important changes to his mechanical dealings. His heat. Grid 3 rather has Michael Lee from England, no score so far. On the outside, Bruce Pennell, still the only rider unbeaten after 7 races. So something could well give here in Heat 8. And from the outside there, it's Pennell, made a colossal start from the outside. The outside grid really does look like jet lightning. There goes Pennell. In second place it is Olsen. In third place it is Lee. But Bruce Pennell really did make a super start. Olsen is trying to creep around the curve on him. Pennell, I think, has sensed the danger. Oh no, it's very tight, and Olsen has done it. Olsen has just slid in there through the eye of a needle, and that really was a crafty old piece of riding. Olsen leads it. Pennell really was perhaps just conned a little bit there. The wily old world champion behind him just waited for that gap to open up and slid in there. He was a gem of a piece of overtaking. So Olsen leads it around the last 2 turns here. Going to be second. There's the winner, Ole Olsen. Second Pennell. Third place was Lee. But that really was a sneaky but beautiful piece of overtaking there by Ole Olsen in lap 2.
And here we see the race in progress. Brucey Penhall leading the race with Olsen behind him. Brucey goes a little bit too wide, and instead of running his course, he tries to run down back across the inside. Ollie's just got the run on him, and this is the start of Ollie's good pass. He's got Brucey on the outside now, and Ollie's going to rush him in just a little bit too quick. You can see Brucey realises he's on the wrong end of the stick. Ollie rushes on the inside. Brucey can do nothing but be passed by a good move by the world champion Ollie Olsen.
So after 2 rides each, it really is pretty tight at the top in this Daily Express Spring Classic. As you can see, we have 4 riders sharing the first place: Peter Collins, Gordon Kennett, Bruce Pennell and Mitch Shearer. And then we have 3 riders back on 4 points: Phil Crump, Ole Olsen, Larry Ross. Could hardly be tighter. So heat 9 with their Bruce Pennell from California, America, and Cradley Heath in the Black Country up there in the Midlands. Number 16. Interesting that a rider wearing 16 has twice before won this title. Pennell very much in touch here at heat 9. Autry on the inside, 3 points. Pennell, one of the joint leaders, on 5. Phil Crump still in contention on 4. Gordon Kennett, another joint leader, on 5 points on the outside. Heat 9, where something we feel has really got to give. Pennell in blue, grid 2. Kennett in yellow and black, outside. Those are the 2 perhaps to watch. But any one of these 4 could make the jump. And it is Pennell. And on the inside there it is Autry, who gave him a nudge, and Kennett goes bravely through the gap there. Somehow Gordon Kennett found a gap between Crump and Pennell, but it's Autry who leads. The holder leads it. Second place is Kennett. Third place is Pennell. Autry now looking a little bit like the rider we saw winning this title 12 months ago. He looked a little bit unhappy in his first 2 rides, a second and a third, but he really is stretching them here in heat number 9. Pennell is getting up to have a buzz at Gordon Kennett, and at the back there is Phil Crump. But this is Scott Autry, world number 3 at Wembley last year in the world final, and having had a couple of fairly particularly auspicious rides, first 2 outings, really seems to have got Wimbledon measured up now. Only something untoward can stop him winning heat 9, and that again has put the cat among the pigeons. Autry wins it. Second place Kennett, third place Pennell, and it really is tightening up score-wise at the top.
And the start of heat 9 really shows how important it is to get the most speed you can from the start to the first corner. If you watch second from the inside, Bruce Pennell, he makes a start, but he rears there a little bit, and that costs him that vital yard. And there's Scott Autry just sitting there trying to prove that he's the best American. He's got underneath Pennell. Pennell goes wide, and he took advantage of that wheelie going to the first corner.
Peter Collins, the 1976 world champion, darling of the England crowd, coming up for heat number 10. He's the only rider, incidentally, to appear in all 7 Spring Classics. And indeed, he needs 3 points in heat 10, a win, to regain the lead. So Collins getting prepared. It'll be interesting to see this new ignition cutout. You can see it going on there. Barry Briggs, tell us what that's all about.
That's when you come off, Dave. It's connected to the ignition system, and as you get thrown clear of the bike, it pulls out a ignition switch which cuts the engine out.
And it's interesting to know that riders this year also most compulsorily wear identification discs with their blood grouping on it. Heat 10, Michael Lee on the inside, 1 point. Peter Collins needing a win to regain the lead here. Grid 3 rather is Václav Werner on 1 point. Billy Sanders yet to open his account on the outside. He's a former winner too. So let's have a look at Heat 10 from this unique view. You're the only ones that really can see it. Nobody here at Play Lane has this sort of view of a start. Heat number 10. To remind you, on the inside there, on the left of the picture in red, it's Michael Lee. Next to him, Collins, the man to watch perhaps. Grid 3, Werner, and on the outside, Sanders. Heat 10. Anticipated well, but I don't think he's going to get to the corner first. No, he isn't. It's Sanders, and in second place it's Lee, and Collins is back in third place. So Billy Sanders hasn't scored a point yet, but it looks like he means business this time. So now here comes Collins, battling through on the inside of Michael Lee. Has he squeezed through? Yes, he has. Now he's chasing hard after Sanders, and of course it's a wonderful sight that Peter Collins really does make hard work of his speedway. By no means the fastest starter in the world, but when he is behind, he really does have a go. And Sanders has really got his tail up at the moment, and Collins has got a lot to do on this last lap. Sanders knows he's got Peter Collins on his tail. A quick look over his shoulder there. Around the last two turns, Sanders opens his account, and again another favourite has, well, exactly fallen by the wayside, but certainly his chances dented there. Peter Collins back in second place. There's Sanders, the winner. Third place was Michael Lee, but Sanders again has rather upset the form book. Well, they still seem to be excavating a bit up there on the top corner. Gordon Kennett hit that bump earlier. Of course, the Wimbledon track has taken a fair bit of rain over the past few weeks. It's in pretty good condition considering. So after 3 rides apiece, any one of these 6 riders really could still emerge as the winner of this 1979 Spring Classic. The co-leaders from England, Peter Collins and Gordon Kennett on 7 points, but then just 1 point adrift of them on 6 points apiece. We have Scott Autry, the holder of the title, Dave Jessup moving up into contention, Ole Olsen, world champion, and America's Bruce Pennell.
So after 10 heats, a very open competition indeed. All the riders have 2 more rides each, and we'll complete the story for you in just a few minutes from now. But let's now bring you right. Has 7 points, Gordon Kennett 7, and Scott Autry, Dave Jessup, Ole Olsen and Bruce Pennell all with 6. And with all the riders facing 2 more rides each, we rejoin the Classic for Heat 14. Commentary again by Dave Lanny.
Gordon Kennett, joint leader on 7 points. World number 2, captain of Eastbourne. And coming in to heat number 14, and this one could have a very great bearing on his chances and indeed the destination of the 1979 Daily Express Spring Gold Classic, because we've got Gordon on 7 points and we have got Billy Sanders, who suddenly popped up after 2 coconuts with a win in his last ride. We've got John Davis on 4 points. There's John. And Ole Olsen, the danger man. You can just see him there on the left of frame. Ole Olsen in the white helmet colour on 6 points. So terribly tight at the top here in this first major Speedway Classic of the season. And this one might well sort it all out. Gordon Kennett on the outside, Ole Olsen next to him, Billy Sanders on the inside, can gate a bit and go a bit when he's in the mood, and John Davis, who's nobody's bug in grid 2. Heat number 14. They are the 2 main adversaries, but tonight we have learned that anything can happen, even at the highest level in World Speedway. And that's the highest level camera, indeed, in World Speedway, with this unique view. We'll watch it from the back. Heat number 14, this so important start. It's an absolutely level break. It's the riders on the inside with a shorter distance who get there first. Davis leads it. Olsen coming around the outside there. Davis in front. Kennett's at the back at the moment. Look at that for a picture. John Davis leads it. You can throw an army blanket over all 4. Davis still in front. Second place, there is Sanders. Third place is Olsen. Gordon Kennett's at the back. And the 2, well, could we say unfancied riders really cutting up the pace in Heat 14. But anything can still happen. Just look at this for action. Davis and Sanders absolutely locked together. Olsen trying the crafty run around the inside. He's moved up into second place, or has he? Not quite. Sanders now in front. Olsen, I think, is going to just nose his way past Davis into the last lap. Now Olsen must chase hard after Sanders and Gordon Kennett trying the inside run on Davis to keep in touch at the back there. But Billy Sanders, a former winner, has won a Heat 14 that really has seen some absolutely startling Speedway action. There's Sanders. Second place was Olsen. Third place, well, it was a blanket finish between Kennett and Davis, and that really was 4 laps of the most stirring Speedway action. Well, what a superb first lap this was. Let's relive it with Barry Briggs.
Yes, and the 4 man on the outside, Gordon Kennett, we all expected great things off the fast starting 4, but you can see there Olsen number 8 and Kennett number 11 have missed the start. The 2 underrated riders are first and second. John Davis in the lead and Billy Saunders second, and there's Olsen trying the big outside run, but he hasn't made it, and he got on one wheel. He lost a bit of momentum then, and you see that John Davis has pulled away with Saunders tucked in behind him on the inside and Olsen on the outside in a very bad position. So you can't always go by the top rider to win here tonight.
Well, April showers indeed have hit this Daily Express Spring Classic. There's the lineup, heat 15. It's going to be interesting to see if this moisture makes any difference. Bruce Peddle on the inside, still in with chances. Mitch Shearer 2 on 5 points. Steve Batstable 3. Peter Collins on the outside, needing a win here to take the lead. Oh, PC got a tremendous start from the outside. So too did Pennell. Pennell to the corner first. In second place, going around the inside there, was Shearer. Now Collins again has to do all his hard work from the back. It's getting a bit greasy, no question about that. Collins now bursting down the inside of Pennell, and gets a nudge out there. Move over, Bruce. He said, I'm coming through. Loses a visor. Pennell fighting back. He's a gritty character, this Yank. Won't give in without a battle. Collins in front. Pennell in second place. Shearer is back in third place, but it's all about these two up front as they come around the top turns here at Clay Lane, Wimbledon. Collins again has come battling through from third into the lead. They're on the last lap now, remember. It's 1,234 yards around this four-lap Wimbledon circuit. And Peter Collins really has provided a thrill just about every yard of that distance. He wins it, 3 points. That takes him into the lead right at the most important time. Collins wins it. Second place Pennell. Third there was Shearer. The rain comes down, but it certainly hasn't damped down Peter Collins' chances. Heat number 16, and still a great deal to race for. This Spring Classic really coming to the boil now as we reach the final stages, with every race really having something quite important to sort out. Larry Ross is on the inside, 5 points, by no means out of touch. Nor too is Scott Autry there in the grid 2 in the blue helmet. He has 6 points, the current holder, remember, seemingly to come back into top form in his last ride with a win. John Titman in grid 3, well, he has 4 points, and on the outside, Václav Werner from Czechoslovakia. Really, I think we can just about write off his chances, but anything can happen in this meeting, as we've seen. Let's watch heat number 16. It's Autry again, and in second place Ross, and Autry almost overcooked the second corner there, recovered quite brilliantly though. That really was some superb speedway from Scott Autry. He roared into the corner, almost bought one, but recovered and still maintained the lead, although he had the attentions of Larry Ross down the inside of him, and that's something to contend with as well, under any circumstance, never mind when you're holding on to a 500cc speedway bike. So, well, Autry is bobbing and ducking around, but he's in command of heat number 16. Have wrists of whipcord, these boys. Only little guys, you'd hardly call them muscular characters, but they're fit and strong and tough and resilient, and that's Scott Autry, one of the best of them. Beautiful start. Watching him around these last two corners. 3 more points to him. That must do his cause a fair bit of good. Second place was Larry Ross. Third place was John Titman. Well, all the action was on the first corner here. Here's Barry Briggs with the replay.
And we see the start with Scott Autry in the blue, second from the inside, move out very well out of the start, and he hasn't had a ride since interval, so there's a long time been since he's had his ride, and there's rain, and you can see the trouble that Autry, an experienced rider of his class, gets into half around the first corner. He looks perfect control here. The track's very wet. You can see him overslide there very well to stay on the bike. Ross looks as though he's going to get him, but Autry's out on the dirt and pulls out the first corner, but change of conditions really threw him.
Right.
They've all got a ride left, just one ride left, and that's the leaderboard. And you can see Peter Collins just has his nose in front with 10 points, but he has got an awful lot of good men breathing down his neck. Scott Autry now in second place on 9. We have 3 riders on 8 points. Dave Jessup, Ollie Olsen, Bruce Peddle, and Gordon Kennett and Larry Ross now must be spoilers back on 7 points each. Heat 17. Ollie Olsen lurking back in third place is in this one. He's in blue. He has 8 points, so he'll be desperate for points to make life a bit difficult for the 2 riders in front of him. That's Scott Autry and Peter Collins. So the world champion needing 3 points here desperately in heat number 17. Olsen will go into grid 2 here on 8 points, remember. Inside him he will have Phil Crump, who started impressively with a win, but has tailed off a bit since then. A 3rd and 2 last. He's on 4 points. Main opposition here, though, probably. Olsen in grid 2. Václav Werner from Czechoslovakia, just 1 point. And Steve Bastable, an unhappy night, having missed his first ride through and being delayed in the very heavy holiday traffic. He's on the outside. Olsen and Crump on the inside, perhaps. The two to watch here in Heat 17. Remember, Olsen needs points. Side again that gets to the corner first. It's Werner who leads it. In second place it is Bastable, but here comes Olsen down the inside. But here's a surprise again. Václav Werner from Czechoslovakia cutting up the pace up front in heat number 17, and Olsen going after him now. Werner is a hard old campaigner around the long and grass tracks, the ice tracks of Europe, and when he gets in front he takes a bit of catching. Olsen knows he can't really afford to drop a single point at this stage, and he's having to work very hard to even get up on terms with Werner. Tried to dive on the inside, Werner shut the gate on him. They're into the last lap now, and this again would be a tremendous surprise. Olsen really trying every trick in the book, but he's only got 2 corners to do it now. The big effort must surely come. But Werner has ridden a quite superb race. Olsen hit that bump there, almost picked up his back wheel. But Werner has won heat number 17, and that really must be regarded as a major surprise. Well, they're going to work again on that rather nasty hole up there between the 3rd and 4th corners. No question there, even the world champion couldn't avoid it there. Olsen picked it up there just when he was making a bid, and that really has taken its toll on 1 or 2 of the leading contenders this evening. Heat number 19, the penultimate race of what has been a really topsy-turvy Daily Express Spring Classic form-wise, and still we have a few questions to be answered here. Heat 19, Scott Autry there in yellow and black, just turning on the fuel, checking everything's in working order. He has 9 points, so a win for Autry. The holder of this Daily Express Spring Classic crown, and he's looking for a win here, which would in fact guarantee him at least 2nd place. We have 3 riders on 10 points already. Scott Autry has 9, and the chance of picking up another 3 here. Peter Collins, of course, with 1 ride to come, has 10 points, so he with it all to do. So Heat 19 with Mitch Shearer on the inside, 6 points. He's faded a bit after a good start. Michael Lee, never really in touch, though he won his last race and has 5. John Davis on 5 points, and Scott Autry on the outside on 9 points. The man looking for points, Scott Autry. A win, remember, will guarantee him at least 2nd place overall. The outside grid has proved just about the most consistently fast up to the 1st corner. It's jumped about a little bit, but I think on the general reckoning, the 3 and 4 grids have been slightly infinitesimally better for those riders. Let's watch Heat 19 and watch Autry especially, right on the outside there in yellow and black, grid 4, Heat 19. Well, he certainly didn't make much of a start. It's Michael Lee who leads. Autry trying to lock back, cuts across Davis there, goes into 2nd place and chasing hard now after Michael Lee. Lee is 12 on the outside, the big tall gangling guy, and Autry rode a really beautiful corner. He just controlled his throttle, he kept going around the line, an absolute arc. Seemed to be on rails here, Scott Autry, as he slid past Michael Lee. He made it look easy, and believe me, it isn't easy to pass a kid like Michael Lee. So let's have a look at this bump again, because 3 out of 4 of them hit it there last time. They're all going round it. Interestingly, there is a hole there. Autry, Lee, Davis, and at the back Shearer. So let's see what Autry does again. The bump is just around about here. He's gone, just a little bit of a twitch there. But doesn't really disconcert him. He wins it, 3 points, vital, crucial points for Autry there, winning heat number 19. 2nd place was Michael Lee, 3rd place was John Davis. But Autry looks like he's going to be poking his nose in the frame at least. So the last race, and it's all on this one. Let's try and get it right. Peter Collins there in red has 10 points, so a win here will make him the clear winner of the Daily Express 7th Spring Classic with a first prize of £500. The opposition, though, has plenty to race for as well. We've got Dave Jessup in blue, and a win here would make him 3rd overall. Dave Jessup looking for a win as well, and if Collins finishes 2nd, we'll have to have a run-off between him and Scott Autry for 1st place. We've also got Gordon Kennett in here in white. Gordon's on 7 points, so if Gordon wins it, he could then possibly go into a run-off for 3rd place, dependent upon the positions that Jessup and Collins finish in. So, and it's interesting to note that if they finish here, Kennett, Jessup, Tipman, Collins, we'd have a 6-man run-off for 2nd place. It's that close. Heat number 20, Collins must win it. Jessup needs a win for 3rd place overall. Kennett needs a win to get in with a chance of some extra prize money. Tipman really out of contention, but Heat 20 with everything going for it. Let's watch Peter Collins on the inside. Pressure, and he didn't make a start at all. It's Jessup who gets away. Jessup leads it. Kennett is back at the back there. In the 2nd place it is Collins trying hard to come under. Kennett didn't get the run. 3rd place Tipman there has come into the picture. Tipman comes roaring around the outside. And this meeting really has been unpredictable, and it's living up to that tag right to the last checkered flag. It's going to be Dave Jessup in front. There he is. Collins really has to work hard again to keep up with him, to get back in contention. And that bump is really taking its toll again on that top corner. No question about that. Well, Dave Jessup there, he had an engine problem in his first ride, didn't even make the start. But he's had now 2 wins a second. It looks like he's going to win Heat 20. He's going to upset Peter Collins' chances. It's going to be Jessup to win it, unless he does something amazingly silly here. Cruises around the bump, goes over the line. He wins it. Collins is in 2nd place, and that 2 points means that we're going to have a run-off between Peter and Scott Autry for 1st place. And that's the first time ever we've had a run-off for 1st place in this Spring Classic. It really has lived up to its name, a Spring Classic. The 7th Daily Express Spring Classic. Autry defending his crown. Collins bidding for a title he has never won. He's on the outside. Autry is on the inside. Autry, the cricketer of the two. Collins, the classic battler from the back. And it's Autry who gets a very, very clean, crisp start and run up to the 1st corner. He leads it now. Peter Collins has it all to do from the back. There's a big bump round there somewhere which they must avoid, these two. And Collins now working so very, very hard. Autry doesn't make many mistakes when he's in front. It looks as though Peter Collins is going to have to force his way through if he's going to get by at all. Blocking back, inching up gradually, Collins. Inch at a time almost. Doesn't seem to be gaining anything. Doesn't seem to be a part of the track where he can really step in. But he's now moved up to, what, half a length. He's trying so desperately hard. They've gone over that bump, and now he tries the inside run. They're into the last lap. Peter Collins trying his big battling North Country hard out, but Autry seems to have eyes in the back of his head. He seems to know every move PC is going to make. They're into the last 2 corners, and Autry is going to hold on. Well, it really was a classic piece of speedway to finish a classic meeting, because Scott Autry there made the start. He seemed to anticipate every move that Peter Collins would make. He held on for 4 laps. He's a most worthy winner. Scott Autry retains his Daily Express Sprint Classic crown. Scott Autry, congratulations, the 2nd year on the run, but it seemed earlier on you were in a bit of trouble. Can I ask you, after that 2nd and 3rd place in your first 2 rides, if you did anything particularly to the machine to make it go that much quicker in the 2nd half of the meeting?
Yeah, I jumped on my spare bike. I was trying out a new bike, and I thought it was just me because I wasn't really riding very well, and I jumped on the spare, and that made all the difference.
And Peter Collins, second place there, had a real go again from the back. But Peter, he seemed to know every move you were going to make in that runoff. What did it feel like at the back there?
Yeah, every time I tried a move, he thought of it before I did it, and no chance. He was riding too good.
He's pretty much a tiger on your tail, though, Scott. I mean, did you know what he was trying to do, Peter, in that runoff?
Yeah, I could see his shadow, but earlier on, the way he was going, I told him, I just didn't think there was any way anybody was going to catch him, but the track got slicker, and it made it a little bit more equal for everybody else.
Well, Scott, congratulations. You won the crown. You got a fair hat there, too. Can we have a look at that one?
Yeah, sure.
That's really one to get ahead with.